folks. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Gaming with RLZ. This is going to be another World of Warships replay featuring the Tier 5 Royal Navy Cruiser Emerald. It is on the map Faultline in Domination mode. I really have been liking this new matchmaking. The teams are very well matched. Each team only has one destroyer and no cruisers. So as we spawn in the game, we spawn toward the middle of the map. Now, I am one of those weirdos that likes taking C first, so I'm going to head over towards C cap and assist the Kuma and the Phoenix. This was my second to last game in the Emerald, and I've really enjoyed it. A lot of people, they talk bad about the Emerald, and I really haven't played a Royal Navy cruiser that I didn't like. I enjoyed my time in the Emerald. You do have to play it sort of conservatively. Be mindful of your citadels, of course. It's a light cruiser. Now, conservative is not exactly how I would describe my gameplay in this game, but it still worked out pretty well. You can find success in any of the Royal Navy cruisers. They're all good ships. So as we approach sea, we have a nice little wolf pack here of 3 light cruisers. The Phoenix and the Kuma are going to be able to spot, since they're getting there ahead of me, they're going to be able to provide some spotting for me. So I'll know what I'm getting into long before I get there. But anytime you're approaching a cap, anytime you're approaching enemy position, use the islands for your cover as long as possible. Use those islands to conceal your approach. Now, if I were on the vanguard here, as I approach that corner about where the Phoenix is now, I would have probably popped Hydro just to be able to get an early detection on any torpedoes we may be heading into. But since CCAP is not turning over yet, meaning that the enemy is not capturing it, and if you look in the mini-map, each team only has one destroyer, and the Isokaze is over at A. We know that fairly safe to approach C. Now, as they do, the enemy's Phoenix and Emerald pop into view. And they do have torpedoes, but since my allied cruisers are already there, I'm not really overly concerned at this point about the torpedo threat. Looking at my positioning on the mini-map, I know that as I surprise these guys coming around the corner, I should be able to get a couple shots in on the Citadel, but I'm on their Citadels. But I'm going to want to protect mine as quickly as possible. I see that the Kuma is backing up, so I'm wanting to pop my smoke screen on him. Now, I will use Hydro if this Emerald pops his smoke, which he does. So I don't want to get surprised by his torpedoes, and I want to be able to push in on his smoke and spotting. So I'm going to start laying down smoke with the Kuma and pop my own Hydro, just to get an early detection on those torpedoes that are inevitably coming. It looks like the Phoenix was able to take out his counterpart there on the enemy team with his torpedoes. You can see where the gunfire is coming from the Emerald, so he is heading back toward the island. Now, sailing broadside in a Royal Navy cruiser, not really a good decision on his part, especially against 3 enemy light cruisers. And what decision he makes here kind of confuses me, because he was heading out and away from us. He could have used that island to conceal his departure and gone around and regrouped, but he turns back into us. So, he's got guts. Give him that. We get the assisted cap, get our first Citadel on the Emerald. We're going to continue to mask our Citadel as much as possible and just keep up the pressure on that Emerald. I'm starting to give him a little bit too much broadside here, but I figure another shot or two and we'll have him dead. Final salvo goes out, and boom goes the dynamite. Now he was able to put out both sets of his torpedoes, but with our hydro up, we detect them almost right away. So thread the needle here. Do scratch the paint just a little bit, but we're okay. Alright, so reassessing the situation. We have C point. A and B are still contested. To the west of C point, we have a Svetlana and a Miyogi. We have a New York down to the south there that is likely engaging that Svetlana, and we are not spotted. So, the Svetlana is heading out and away from us. It's a pretty quick ship. It does have great citadels to shoot at, but my real target here is this Miyogi. Now as I hit this corner, since I'm not spotted, I can put up my torpedo lead indicator and see that he's sailing pretty much in a straight line. I'm thinking I can ambush this guy, or at least cut him off with my torpedoes, limit his mobility. Most likely his guns are not facing toward me since that New York is down there. He's probably shooting at the New York, and it looks like the New York is taking some pretty heavy damage. So my intention here is to launch torps toward the Miyogi, not really expecting that first salvo to hit, but really to limit his avenues of maneuverability. You can see he's starting a pretty aggressive turn here, so I'm going to throw those torpedoes down. Maybe we hit, most likely we won't, not at this range since he's heading out away from us. But I do want to cut off that avenue, don't want him to be able to turn too much. New York is about to go down. But we're going to continue firing on this Miyogi. Now my initial intention was to turn to starboard and cut off that Miyogi on an attack run and hit him with my other set of torpedoes. But the Kuma sent torpedoes from behind me and kind of cut me off, and I really don't want to eat a bunch of IJN torps. Those would wreck my day. So we're just going to keep up the gunplay here on this Miyogi. Throw out some shots on the Svetlana because, hey, light cruiser.
Torpedoes astern.
Now it's going to turn again, and once again, the Kuma throws out his other set of torps and cuts me off again. So I am limited now in my maneuvering and where I can go, and now I'm developing a problem because that Miyogi's guns are turning toward me. Yep, he's targeting me. So now I don't want to give him broadside, definitely. I'm going to turn my nose toward him and try to dodge. He launched his spotting plane. I don't know why. And I'm actually shooting at his rear guns, hoping to take one of them out luckily. Thankfully he was shooting high explosive there. Had those been armor piercing, it would have wrecked my day. But he did damage a couple of modules. I used my repair party. I'm going to keep up.
Problem solved, sir.
Keep up the fire. I don't want him maneuvering in open water, so I'm going to throw my torpedoes out. In hindsight, I probably should not have thrown those because it does cut off our Phoenix. We're going to keep up the pressure on this Miyogi. The Svetlana has disappeared to the west of the island. Since the Kuma and the Phoenix are heading around to the south, I decide to head to the north and maybe ambush this guy as he comes out on the other side. We still have the Svetlana over there too to deal with. So it looks like the Svetlana is doing a turnaround as we lose our Phoenix. The Kuma is still pursuing the Miyogi. He has torpedoes out, it looks like. I'm anticipating that this Svetlana is going to continue to turn and maybe head north again, and he does. Alright, so I'm not spotted. The Miyogi's torps, or the Kuma's torps are out, and the Miyogi takes one, and it looks like he has a flood going on. I really have no idea why I hit my hydro there. I'm out of range of the Svetlana's torpedoes, but no harm, no foul. As he comes around the corner, we're going to open up on him. Try to get some citadels. A little bit high. One more salvo. There's the city. Alright, so we were able to finish off the Svetlana. Miyogi was killed by the Kuma, but now I have a problem because I am broadside to a Coing that is targeting me. So I slow down and pop smoke and start shooting at the Coing. Now, assessing the situation, the enemy has A and B. We are starting to push in on A. We have a New York, a Wyoming, and a Coing over there at A. And it's me and the Kuma down here to the south of B. The Kuma is heading in toward me, but I've lost spotting on that enemy Coing. So rather than just sit here, I am going to push out and try to reacquire the target. And as soon as I appear, I am targeted. So I know he's looking at me. Sure enough, there's big guns pointing at me, and here it comes. High explosive. Thankfully, able to pop a heal here because I have it. And just keep up some pressure on this Coing. If you are a battleship captain and you're firing on a light cruiser, as much as you may love your high explosive, do yourself a favor and switch to armor piercing. As many times you'll be able to citadel them through the nose. These battleships, had they been shooting, had more of them been shooting high explosive at me, I'd have been, or rather, if they hadn't been shooting high explosive, if they would have been on armor piercing, it would have definitely taken me down a lot faster. But as it is, we're going to continue up the fire on the Coing. Now, looking at the mini-map, you can see to the west there's a New York. And I've put myself in kind of a bad position here as I lose propulsion torpedoes and get set on fire, forcing out my repair party. As I head up above this island, now I'm in a bad position because there's a New York there and a Coing, and it doesn't matter which way I turn, I'm going to be showing broadside to somebody. But I'm going to keep up the pressure on this Coing as that New York comes around. Again, I lose propulsion. So as soon as I pick up concealment, I am running a 7-point commander on this one. I'm running priority target, expert marksman, and superintendent. As soon as I pick up concealment, my 12th points are going to be spent on last stand. Or maybe I'll pick up preventative maintenance. There are also some torpedoes on this Coing because he seems to be not maneuvering very much. My smoke screen comes off cooldown. My propulsion is still out. Just decided to keep the fire going. I'm being targeted by both the New York and the Coing right now. Got one torpedo on the Coing. Keep up the pressure on him. And pop smoke. I really should not have used my repair party there. I should have looked at the timer on that incapacitation, because it would have come down anyway. I would have gotten propulsion back anyhow. Start fire on this New York. Just go back and forth between the New York and the Coing. The Kuma has joined me. That Texas just kind of meandering around over there. Not really within my range. So, lost spotting on the New York. Just going to start shooting this Coing some more. So the Kuma puts out torps toward the Coing. So it's just me and this Kuma against 4 battleships. We are starting to cap B. That New York was kind of making me nervous. That's why I popped Hydro. I didn't want him rushing my smoke screen. The Coing pulls a Notzer as we cap B. So now we hold all 3 cap points. We have just over 5 minutes left in the game, and the Kuma goes down. So now it's me against 4 battleships, but we hold all 3 caps. Less than 5 minutes. We're catching up on points. So it looks like the Coing is flooding over there from one of the Kuma's torpedoes. So I'm going to keep up fire on this Coing. Looks like yeah, he's still flooding. So I'm going to put out my torpedoes toward the Coing. Okay, he's stopped flooding, which either means that the flooding wore down, or he used his repair party. Hopefully he used his repair party as my torps go out. So now I have a choice. I'm going to keep up pressure on this Coing, but I also know we have less than 5 minutes, and we have now surpassed them on points. We get 2 torpedo strikes, 2 floods, and I know that flood's going to stick. So we've pretty much killed this Coing already. I want to keep up pressure on him though, just in case. Maybe come around. I'm going to drop my other torpedo set at him. Just keep shooting at his superstructure with my armor piercing. I'm going to put out, I'm anticipating that he's going to start moving forward again, so I'm going to throw my torpedoes accordingly. But that flood is still ongoing. I'm being targeted by 3 enemies. I want to head down to the south between these islands. Now the New York and the Coing have begun to cap B, and I want to delay that as long as possible. So we've lost A. Down goes the Coing. So I'm going to switch fire over to this New York. Almost pull a Notzer here, but I'm going to slow down. I'm going to pop smoke. I don't want to disappear just yet. I want to keep firing on this New York as long as possible to keep them from taking B. Try to delay that as much as possible. We're down to under 4 minutes left in the game as the armor piercing comes in from the New York, and that hurt. I'm going to keep putting out shots as long as I can. Keep them from taking B. Just move back and forth in the smoke a little bit. As I lose spotting. So that's my 7th cap defense. Now I know that he has pretty much, they've taken B now, but we are up significantly on points with 3 minutes left in the game. So I'm going to head out down south and then reassess. Because if I would have stayed there in that smoke screen, I believe that I would have been blitzed. So heading back down south, what are the options? Alright, so we have the New York that we know is capping B. I put out my heel. We have the Texas, and then there is a enemy New York that has been unaccounted for a while. So what I'm expecting is that the New York in B is going to stay in B and probably going to head around toward the east of that big island to the south. I think that they anticipate that I'm going to run and hide, so they're probably going to pursue me. So I'm going to come back around to the north. I expected that Texas to head through the gap at A and come around to the west of that island, kind of in a pincer maneuver. Still don't know where that second New York is. So I'm going to start heading back up this way, try to use the island to mask my approach, and maybe set up a torpedo ambush at this corner. So far we're at 80,000 damage, 149 shells out, 3 kills, and we are up on points significantly. They're starting to catch up, but with a minute and a half left in the game, I don't think they're going to be able to catch us. So as long as I don't get killed and get over aggressive like I am now, we may still win. Okay, so no sight on the New York or on the Texas, but we do spy the New York, and he is heading through that gap. So I'm anticipating that the New York at B is still going to come around the corner. General Nuisance gives me a well done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And it looks like Adam Duchamp recognizes the point gap there. Alright, so now I'm spotted. There's the Texas. So I'm going to start turning out. I really overextended myself there. Put out some shots on the Texas. Still keeping an eye on the mini-map, because that New York at B is still unaccounted for. Take a couple of shots there, a couple of overpins. That one hurt. Alright, I'm down to 4,000 health. One good salvo and I'm dead, and there's that enemy New York. Tank blitzing is right up on top of me. So I'm going to throw torpedoes at him. Down to 2,000 health. 13 seconds left. There's another hit. 53 health left. Can I make it? That New York's guns are coming up. I am broadside to him. 3 seconds left. New York fires. Here comes the shells that will kill me as the timer runs out and saves me. All right. That was a pretty intense game. All right, so we wound up with 82,000 damage, 8,000 experience, 446 free experience, 209,000 credits. We earned Dreadnought and Solo Warrior off of that one, and an Emerald. 152 shots out with 65 penetration, 3 Torps, 2 Floods, 3 Citadels. Team score, we were able to pick up MVP off of that one. The detailed report, we wrecked that Coing. The Emerald, the Svetlana, those were our 3 kills on this one. Okay, some damage on the Texas, Phoenix, and New York, the Yogi. And there's our credit and XP. Alright folks, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun. Hope to see you next time.